Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Planners Knowledge Pop-Up Podcast. I am so excited to have our guest today. For those who are joining us for the first time to Planners Knowledge is an opportunity for me to welcome and introduce you all to a variety of authors and genres, and really getting to know them as well as their author's journey, their process, publishing, and so forth. So, in any show that I do, I always encourage people make sure you have a pen and a piece of paper so that you can take notes. I know sometimes people are listening on their computers or on their phones. You can always catch the replay if you need something to go back. If you're able to join us in the chat, please be sure to say hello. Tell us where you're calling from or where you're listening from. If you have any questions, put them in the chat as well. We will try to get to as many as we can. All right. So today's author, we were actually kind of vendor mates at a recent event in Collingswood in the beginning of October. And she was such a great vending neighbor. And so I was just like, you know what? I have to have her on this show. So please, everyone, let's welcome Amelia Griggs. Hello, Amelia.
Hi, Kathleen. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you are welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing phenomenal. How about you?
I'm doing well also. All right. So as I was telling the people while you were off stage, we had a chance to meet each other at the Collingswood Book Festival in early October, and you were my vending neighbor.
Oh,
And and a great vending neighbor to have. Look, I ended up picking up a little strategy from her that had nothing to do with the book, but it had to do with vending, that something that's needed, and that's little mini generator. So after you, because you had your phone plugged up, you had something, and I was like, that is such a great idea because you never know when you're vending, right? The outlets aren't going to be there, but this is a way to keep your phone charged and anything else that you may have.
yep. But the name is Ryobi. There's other brands, but thanks to my husband, it's portable electricity.
Mm-hmm. And it is, and we went out that day and bought one. So thank you very much. So
You're very welcome.
you never know what you are going to learn when you are vending, when you meet people. And this is the great thing about meeting people, just being open to the possibilities. Leslie is saying, good afternoon, ladies. Hey, Les, thanks for joining us. All right. Well, let's start to introduce people to your work. So tell us a little bit first. Let's start with telling us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So I'm an author and a freelance e-learning consultant. My background is computer science. I primarily worked in the IT training and support arena for many years in healthcare and the corporate world. And
Mm-hmm.
then I got really interested in developing training, and
Mm.
e-learning was booming. So I decided to pursue that and study instructional design in grad school, which took me about 7 years. I did that part time in evenings and night while or weekends while I was working full time. So I did that
Wow.
at Philadelphia University, which I believe now is called Jefferson
Correct.
University.
Yep.
Um, I went freelance in 2007 to have more time for my family and for writing. I've always
Mm-hmm.
loved writing. And yeah, it actually helped me. I mean, I worked near full-time hours when I went freelance, but it offered me flexibility,
Mm-hmm.
for my kids. And, also that's actually was my stepping stone that allowed me to start writing more.
Okay. So the writing pieces, you said you've always loved writing. What's the earliest memory that you have of writing?
I mean, I even remember like as a teenager, I mean, I loved to write in diaries and journals. I would
Mm-hmm.
always write like what was happening in my life. And I also liked to just write about, different things and reading. And I always loved like rhyming, short
Mm-hmm.
stories, all
Mm-hmm.
kinds of books. And I don't know, I just always embraced it. I found it very therapeutic to
Mm-hmm.
write in
Mm-hmm.
journals. And, and I also found it like entertaining to read as well.
Mhm,
So,
mhm,
yep.
mhm. It's interesting as you say that when I think back to my earliest writing, it was somewhere around 2nd and 3rd grade, and one of the things that I used to enjoy doing was writing stories for the little kids, like the kindergarten and the nursery students. So I would make up stories, and then I would ask my teachers, could I go down to the kindergarten class and read to them?
I
And they
love
would
it.
say yes. And that's where it started. Now, at that point, I had no idea that I would become an author and become an author of children's books. But the seed was planted very early,
Absolutely. Yeah.
definitely. So
Yeah. I
now,
can.
and
Mhm.
go ahead. No, 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 you go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I can tell you more about my writing journey whenever.
Please,
Mhm.
please.
Like,
Yeah, go ahead.
so I would say I've been self-publishing for about 8 years now. As I
Mm-hmm,
said, I always love writing. And when I worked in the IT world, I mean, this is going back years when I was teaching in classrooms before we went online. I used to
mm-hmm,
create these training manuals and I loved to write the instructions. Thus,
mm-hmm,
the reason I pursued a degree in instructional design. But I feel like I always felt like I could be more creative. But I did
mm-hmm,
like back then. I remember asking like when we had like guests that's speakers. I always would ask like, how could I write training manuals for the world? How could I actually, and
mm-hmm,
back, years ago, it wasn't as easy to find information online. They didn't have what they have now. It's a lot easier, to self-publish. So I did
mm-hmm,
enjoy writing the instructional manuals. And when I moved to contract work in 2007, I started like doing creative writing. I started writing
mm-hmm,
online articles on a platform
mm-hmm.
that's still around called Hub Pages. There was
Hmm.
there was like a few of them around.
Okay.
Um, and it kind of went up and down in like popularity. It's not as popular now, but I have over 100 articles, and a lot of them are like instructional, nonfiction. But then I also have like cooking, so it really helped me kind of practice
Yes.
writing. And
Yes.
then I found a writing group on LinkedIn in around,
Hmm.
I would say, in around 2013, 14.
Okay.
And they had, it was like, it's not, the woman doesn't run it anymore, but she would have it was a short story challenge for aspiring writers. So she would just give us like a little mini plot, maybe have like a prop that had to be put in the story, and it had to be
Okay.
like 750 words or less. And
Mhm.
it was great. We would just communicate online, so it gave me opportunity to be creative with writing stories.
I
And
love
then
it.
if your story got picked, they would pick 3 stories a month, first, second, third place. Then at the end of the year, they would get all the stories that they selected and put it in a real book, in an
Mm.
anthology book. And I just
Wow.
thought that was like the greatest thing in the world. I was like, so I got twice I got picked for 2 short stories. I was, like, thrilled,
How
and
cool.
then it was in a real book. I got it, and I ordered it once they put it together on Amazon, and I just
Mhm.
thought, "Well, how did they do this? Like,
Yes.
how's this possible?"
Yes.
So I branched out and I decided to study, and I joined the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators only because
Okay.
I wasn't sure if I wanted, to write how do you self-publish, or what's the difference
Mhm.
between traditional publishing, and
Mhm.
also should I do nonfiction or fiction? So I
Mhm.
studied all that, and then
Mhm.
I learned the self-publishing process. I also learned by going to writing workshops where there were children's book authors that traditional publishing takes a long time.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
find an agent. It could take like 2 years. And
Yeah.
honestly, Kathleen, I not don't have the patience for that. So I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to, just as an experiment, I'm going to try self-publishing. So I
Mhm.
thought, I almost was going to start with a novel, like a rags to riches story, kind
Wow.
of based
Okay.
on the memory of my mom was from Italy. she came like on the boat when she was like
Mhm.
18, and she went
Mhm.
through some tragedies and then he overcame them. So I thought I actually wrote a few chapters. But then
Mhm.
I thought I learned that, if you write, if you're an unknown author, it could
Mhm.
take, like, you really have to build your brand.
Yeah.
So I thought,
Yeah.
okay, I want to put that on the side. And I have all this information in front of me and in my head from teaching Microsoft Office. So I
Mhm.
decided my first series was going to be an experiment on technology. They're instructional books. So I have actually,
Hmm.
I didn't bring them. I don't know if I showed you at the Collingswood, but a lot of times I don't bring them because I bring the children's books to the festivals because there's a
Yes.
lot of families.
Yes.
My nonfiction books sell more online.
Okay.
So I have Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint tips, tricks, and shortcuts, and I have companion videos on my YouTube channel. So there's a little tip
Wow.
for anybody cross promote and a
Yeah.
book for your business. So what I learned is it's easier to market a book for your business because you have the experience, so people trust
Mhm.
you. So you
Mhm.
definitely can build your business with a book. So I was
Yes.
doing that on the side and working a ton during the day, and I was getting burnt out. And I was talking to
Mhm.
my husband and I said, "Oh, I want to do another series, but I'm not really sure." And he's like, "Well, why don't you do something fun?"
Mhm.
So I'm like, "Okay." I went to a couple writing workshops for children's books. I love rhymes. I might try that. So I found a
Mhm.
local writing critique group. A woman would
Mhm.
run it, and I would go on Fridays, run over on my lunch hour, and we would have to bring a story, and we would all read our stories to each other. And first, I brought some. I wrote a couple stories about a groundhog. I don't know. I don't know why, but I like that. And I then I had to polish them. But then I thought, well, what am I going to bring next week and the week after? So I was
Mhm.
inspired by my mother. She taught me the joys of cooking,
Mhm.
and there was born the series of Bella and Mia
Yes.
with the favorite foods that my mom loved to cook: apple cake,
Uh-huh.
meatballs, of course, Italian meatballs,
Uh-huh.
and pizzelles.
Yes.
So you've seen them. And then I created the rhymes, and I brought them, and the other women in the group we helped each other. They helped me with the rhythm of the rhyme. I found my
Mhm.
illustrator on Fiverr.
Mhm.
She's excellent.
Mhm.
And then learn how to lay out my books. And I create all my book covers on Canva. The only exception is, like, for my children's books, my illustrator created the illustration for the cover, but I still lay out the whole front and spine and back. I
Yes.
For my nonfiction. And as you know, you really have to do research to make sure that if it's
Mhm.
nonfiction, fiction, children's, it has to be correct for that genre.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, so I use Canva, and I actually use Word to lay out all my books, the
Okay.
interior,
Okay.
including my children's books. I took all my JPEG files from an Illustrator sheet and overlaid the text on the
Really?
pages. Well, because I know some people that have had problems that their Illustrator does not overlay the text. Now, it's easy
Mhm.
enough if people are a little interested in learning, a little tech savvy. There's if you don't have Photoshop, and Photoshop could be scary,
Mhm.
there's a
Mhm.
website called Photopea.
Really? PIA?
Mm-hmm. Photopea.com, and it's like an online. It's not as elaborate as um, Photoshop, but
Uh-huh.
if you have an image and you need to overlay text, or if you have the original Photoshop file in layers and you need
Mhm.
to move something, and that's actually happened to me
Mm.
because
Mhm.
I use KDP primarily, but I was forced to use Ingram Spark because of the hardcover,
Yep.
right? You do the
Yep.
same. You do the
Same
same.
thing. Same thing.
So as you know, Ingram Spark is a little bit more strict with the margins. So I had to
Yeah.
move my title down and, like, some of the objects inward. And,
Mhm.
like, my illustrator helped me a lot, but I needed to do something quick, so I used,
Mhm.
like, Photopea. And I had the original. That's one tip I would say if anyone hires an illustrator or hires anyone to do any kind of graphics. If you purchase the original source file, the
Mhm.
PSD, most times the PSD file, you have all the layers so that if you have
Mhm.
to move an object or change text, you could do that yourself easily.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, you could also do certain things in Canva. But anyway,
Yes.
I did what I had to do to lay out the the covers, and then the interior I laid out in Word. There's like, of course, special margins and page
Mhm.
size, as you know,
Mhm.
and I
Mhm.
inserted all the JPEG files and then outstretched them, make sure there's no white around the edge.
Yes. Yes.
And yeah, and I actually have a video on my YouTube channel, and it's I have a course now, and I'm helping authors. So over the years, what I did because I like to write, I documented
Mhm.
everything I did from
Mhm.
start to finish.
Yes.
And actually, I do it now. I think I'm on my third Word document because it gets to be 200 or 300 pages. And each day, like just like you would write in your calendar,
Yes.
I put like the date and I just like as a goal, I might put like 2 or 3 things that I want to get done. Sometimes I
Mhm.
just write it in my calendar,
Mhm.
but I log just a little bit of what I did. And because you know how you have those days where you're like, where did the day go? What did I do? And
Yes.
I could look back and say, well, what did I do 2 days ago?
That's
Because
right.
felt like I didn't accomplish anything. Um, and that really, really helps.
So
That
let
really
me
helps.
I'm going to pause you just for a moment. I hope people have their pen and paper because she has given so much information in these first 16 minutes. Like there is just so much knowledge to grab. If you miss some of it, it is okay. You can catch the replay right here on my YouTube channel. Ask Dr. Walls 525. The replay will also be available on LinkedIn on my profile as well. But I definitely encourage you to come over here to YouTube at Ask Dr. Walls 525. So I have also put her links in the chat. So you want to join her YouTube channel. Amelia, I have is it at Easy Learning Web? Is that the best one?
Well, that's actually easylearningweb.com is my old computer website, but Easy
Okay.
Learning is the name of my YouTube channel. But you look up Amelia Griggs,
Yes.
uh, Easy Learning, it'll come up on my it'll come up on my YouTube channel.
Okay. Yeah, so definitely check
Yeah,
her out
yeah.
there. Be sure to subscribe. There's so much good content there. As she mentioned, she does have children's books. We're going to talk a little bit more about those in a few, where she actually has recipes in there, which is incredible from learning to cook. And the story is just so endearing. All of the different stories are. But she also has informational books as well as she talked about Microsoft Word. You talked about PowerPoint. What was the did you say Excel also?
Yep, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint.
All right. And those are very, very important. And any tips and hacks and suggestions, they make all the difference. She also talked about Photopea, which is very helpful. And I put that in the chat as well. And then what you can do on Canva. I know Canva has done so many upgrades in the past couple months, let alone years, with the things that it can do as well. So those are just some of what she talked about in the first 16 minutes. So you want to make sure that you are capturing all of this knowledge. All right, Amelia, go ahead. What else is top of mind for you?
I also want to mention that over the years, I have met so many wonderful people online and in person, you included, Kathleen. Kathleen and I connected like quickly. And the
Mhm.
benefit to going to these festivals, either if you just want to go as a spectator, especially if you're writing or about to publish and you're not sure, what should I do to network, these events are excellent, and you can
Mhm.
meet people in person, and then you can also do a lot of online networking. It's really
Yes.
important. So over the years, I've probably have joined 20 or 30 author groups, a
Mm.
lot of them on Facebook. I did find a
Mhm.
couple on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Some I'm not as active, but some are really active. And you want to engage. And what I learned is when you first self-publish a book, everybody's thinking, oh, I think I'm just going to take a picture with my book and say, hey, I have a book. Would you like to buy it? And that's what I did too, right? We all think that's all I have to
That's
do,
it.
and people will
Right.
buy it. And or put it on Amazon, and I don't have to really do anything else, right? Because it's going to be
Uh-huh.
on Amazon and
That's
everybody will
right.
buy it.
That's
No,
right.
no, it's
Uh,
not the case. So what I learned over the years, because I'm starting to create videos on book marketing,
mhm.
and I forgot to mention, so I have my children's books, of course, coloring activity books. The technology books were the first series I created. But
Mhm.
because I documented everything, I created my author journey
Love it.
success series.
Yes.
So I have my 7 steps, and I did a workshop on that. So I have a workshop, recorded workshop that I have
Mhm.
available.
Mhm.
And I also have a workbook, author journey workbook.
Mhm.
I have a book dedicated to self-publishing, and then I have a separate 101 ways to market your book.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And they're all because I've been experimenting, right? Because
Mhm.
that's so important to experiment.
Yes.
So about the book marketing, networking, if you join author groups, you can offer advice, even if you're just starting out, and ask a lot of questions. I ask a lot of
Mhm.
questions at the beginning. I didn't know specifics about certain things, and you can learn so much from people through these groups. So
Mhm.
that's really important.
Mhm.
Um, and then social media is great, but
Mhm.
you want to offer some tips and information, of course, make it entertaining. And now,
Mhm.
especially around the holidays, everybody's offering special
Black
deals and
Friday
sales,
special discounts. Yes.
right? So that's a great opportunity. Also, if your books are um, like, well, for reading for children, like
Mhm.
there's certain days like Read Aloud Day, or like
Mhm.
in my case,
Mhm.
since I have an apple cake book, National Apple Day, or
Uh-huh.
or if your book is about, either a certain topic or anything, you
Yes.
can relate it to an event,
Mhm. Mhm.
like or if it's
That's really
holiday.
good suggestion to be able to tie it into events, and that's so good because a lot of times there are missed opportunities because people aren't connecting it as you're suggesting.
Absolutely. I mean, I know I have friends that have children's books that help about specific problems. Like I have one author
Mhm.
friend that has a book about bullying and
Mhm.
overcoming bullying. And, then there's books that help children with just family issues or
Yes.
mental health issues. So you can definitely, offer tips and advice, and then uh, people will gravitate to that book because they hoping that it helps their child or
Exactly.
or their family. Um,
Exactly.
absolutely. So what I also start doing, just because my background is IT and course development, is it's been my dream to create courses to help
Mhm.
people. And what I learned over the last few years is when I worked in the corporate world, I created the training and a lot of software training. So
Mhm.
it was like instructional. It's not the same. There's a lot more work if you do it yourself because there's a lot of different course platforms.
Yes.
You also have to put all the pieces together. Whereas when I was in the corporate world, I would do the videos, we would hand it over to somebody
Somebody
else.
else. Yeah.
They even had voice talent. So now I
Mhm.
do my own voice,
Mhm.
um, and I also had to just figure out the whole process, and then there's the whole marketing aspect.
Yes. Yes.
So I also love Canva. I don't know if you
Yeah.
use Canva.
Oh, yes, I do. My spiritual daughter made sure I became very versed, her and my cousin became very versed in Canva and
I mean,
love it.
it's just evolving. It's
It's
evolving,
incredible. Yes.
isn't it? So I have Canva training. I have a Canva course, and then I have a mini course on creating book covers in Canva. And then
Mhm.
I also just finishing up my first signature self-publishing course. So I'm doing like an early bird special release.
Okay, y'all,
Um,
you heard it. Early bird special release. Where can they go find that? Wait, I got to give you a tambourine for that one because I think, I love.
Oh my
The,
God. I
the
love it. I
teacher
love
in
it.
me loves courses. So where can people go to sign up for this course?
So two good places to go would be my link tree. And at
Okay.
the top of my link tree, and let me know if you need me to put it in the chat or if you have it.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab it right now at the
At
top
the
of your
top
link tree.
at the top of my link tree, I have a free replay that you could um, sign up for, and it was called Self Published by Christmas, and it
Mm-hmm.
has all kinds of information about self publishing. And then at the end, I have a special bundle deal, and I'm running it now where you get like a deep discount coupon, and then I'm also including free access to my Canva book covers course if you buy the self-publishing course.
Come on, y'all, buy that self-publishing course. Come on, come
Thanks.
on.
And what I would really love is if anybody wants to embark on it, I love feedback and
Mhm,
questions. And the benefit, I found this phenomenal course platform that I've been searching for years. So if
mhm.
you're familiar with gamification,
No, I'm
so
not.
gamification is like it's been around forever, right? The whole concept of games and learning, and
Yes.
people learn a lot. I mean, there's games that just are just playing games, right? But then there's
Mm-hmm.
fun games and then there's educational games. So when I
Yes.
worked in the corporate world, um, we had some tools we were experimenting with that had to do with not just like a little quiz, but like points
Yes.
or bells and whistles
Yes.
or certificates or achievements,
Mm-hmm.
leaderboards. So all that is actually ties in with the whole gamification aspect. And it
Hmm.
really helps people learn because they're having fun
Yes.
while they're learning. And I tried some different platforms, um, and they were okay, but they were like just the usual list of videos where people have to do it and then they're kind of
Mm-hmm.
on their own. But
Yeah.
I just discovered, and now I'm using a new platform, and it offers the bells and whistles and the point system, and it's really fun. It has
Mm.
celebration animations,
Oh
and
my goodness.
this is what I'm using for the self-publishing course, and I'm can't wait for people to try it out and tell me what they think because it's fun. And it comes with a free community forum
Uh-huh.
so people can post questions and interact with other authors and me as well.
Nice.
And they also have like a chat feature in there, but they have a new AI bot that's available
Mm.
that I have to test out. So that what it does is it absorbs all the information from my course so that
Mm-hmm.
if somebody bought the course and it was like the weekend and they had a question, they could put
Yes.
that in that chat box, and then it would just like a lot of other companies, right? And it offers information, and then if you need more information, then you can contact me and send me a
Yes.
question, and then I would
Now,
get back to you. Mhm.
Amelia, I know that your author journey training bundle is not only $27.
No, no, no. Here, let me show you. So I'm just looking at my so it on my link tree
Yes.
at the top is the free replay. And
Yes.
then down I have latest book and course releases,
Got
right?
it.
And it's the self-publishing with KDP, your book on Amazon in 30 days. That's
Okay.
the actual course. Now
Okay.
the replay actually is X. It's free. It's a free replay. Is the best thing for people to sign up for
Mhm.
because at the end of the replay, there's information about the
Got
bundle
it.
package.
Got it.
Um, so yeah,
Okay.
so that's the best place for people to find out about the bundle. And I'm going to be posting about it on my Instagram
Okay.
so that people are aware of it.
Okay. And so
Mhm.
the one with the bells and whistles in the game aspect, that's the self-publishing with KDP, your book on Amazon in 30 days.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
exactly. Yep. And
Okay.
the link goes to like a learn more page where you learn
Yes.
all about it. And on there it talks about the free coupon on
Got
there.
it.
So, and if you want, I can grab, there's a
Yeah, drop
link.
it in the chat.
Yep, absolutely. Will do. I'm going to just put a link to the Learn More page, which I'll do. Just clicking join the chat. And okay, I'm just going to connect here.
Hey, y'all, I know you're listening like, oh my goodness, I didn't know she was going to be giving all of this knowledge today. Look, I do not just have anybody on my shows. You have to make sure you come ready to listen and learn and take notes. While she's pulling up those pages, if you missed it, she talked about hub pages. She talked about joining writing communities as opportunities, one, to strengthen your skills, but also two, to really build your community, right? And it's an opportunity, even she mentioned creating some writings that were chosen to be a part of an anthology. And I know I've worked with other writers, other authors who, by being a part of an anthology, gave them the courage to go out on their own and create their own books. So there's many journeys, many paths to this author life. And Amelia is a teacher and in various forms. And here are some opportunities for over the holiday, between now and the holidays, to create something and get it up and running. And I think what a tremendous opportunity for yourself as well as for those who are waiting for the information and or the stories that you have.
Kathleen, I tried to connect to the chat. For some
Yes.
reason, it said failed, but I emailed
Hmm.
you another
Okay.
link if you want to grab that and put
Yep.
it in the chat. It's the Learn More page
Perfect.
for the self-publishing course.
Yep. I'll do it right now. Got it.
Mhm.
Okay. Perfect. All right, everyone. And I will also be posting these in the write up afterwards. So the replay is usually available immediately following the show. And I'll go in and edit and add the links as well. So fantastic.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. You know, as I was thinking, and I don't let you go ahead and I'll remember my thought. What else do you want to share with the audience?
Well, we also talked about uh, if I had anything coming up.
Yes.
And I'm going to say that around the holidays, like I mentioned, it's really a great opportunity to sign up for holiday events, book festivals. Of course, Collingswood Book Festival is one of my favorites. I've been
Hmm.
doing that for a number of years. Now, it's hard to find specific book events and festivals. There's some big ones. I know there's a one in Princeton, New
Hmm.
Jersey, and it's like a specifically a children's book festival. And I tried a couple years ago, and unfortunately, um, they didn't have room, or they were, I
Hmm.
think they were still deciding if they wanted to let self-published authors in. But I
Authors.
mean, self-published
Hmm.
authors are a lot more respected now than years ago. I think at the
Yeah.
beginning there was a lack of understanding
Yep.
of, the self-publishing industry.
Hmm.
But I
Hmm.
self-published because I didn't have the patience, and the writers group that I joined, that I would bring my rhyming stories, a lot,
Hmm.
like several of them were teachers or retired teachers, and
Hmm.
they were all interested in self-publishing, and they had been waiting for years.
Yeah.
They have been they had been submitting their letters to agent for years, and
Hmm.
I was telling them that I was like, "Oh, I'm interested in self-publishing. I'm gonna, like, look into it," but,
Hmm.
and then over the years, 'cause, like, one of them I actually saw at, Collingswood,
Oh
and
wow.
yeah, one of the women that used to be on the group, and she works at a library. She did end up, like, self-publishing. She used a couple companies to help her, though,
Hmm.
with the process.
Hmm.
But it's just interesting where kind of people went, in different directions.
Yeah.
But but anyway, holiday events, I have 3 more coming up.
Okay.
I have one that, so what I started doing is making crafts to go with my books.
Hmm.
So I started making little apple tree,
Yes.
craft kits for people kids could make the tree. I also have, because my book's about apple cake, I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually going to bake today and tomorrow. I'm going to make mini versions of my apple cake bundt cakes and
Mm.
bring them to. I have a festival Friday night and Saturday. It's a craft. They call it a craft fair, but there's all different vendors.
Okay.
There's a few authors. There's of course craft vendors and jewelry. There's like
Yes.
everything. And then I signed up for two more in December, which
And
are
where's the one that you were just talking about?
it's in Warminster, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
It's called Archbishop Wood High School. A lot of the high
Yeah.
schools have fairs, big
Mm-hmm.
craft fairs and vendor events around the holidays. And then in December, I didn't really want to do any more outdoor, but
Mm-hmm.
in the winter, in the fall and winter. But
Yes.
my neighbor's daughter plays softball in a local organization, and they're doing a fundraiser. So they're having an event, and it's only 5 minutes away from me in a
Okay.
park. And they're going to have some holiday events. And then another one in December 9th, is called Christmas in the Barn. That one I'm really excited about
Mm.
because it's actually where I used to work. I worked for 16 years for an organization called Holy Redeemer Health System.
Yes.
And one of my best friends still works there. So she said they're having this Christmas in the Barn.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, is it inside in a barn? It's not, but they're having like nativity, they're having Santa, they're having a tree lighting, and they're having vendors. And there's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be kids there. So I'm
Nice.
definitely gonna, talk about my books and,
Yes.
share them. And then I'll bring my crafts. So I make
Yes.
now for my pasta and meatballs. Well, I have my pasta and meatballs coloring book, and
Okay.
then I have my squishy wishy meatballs rhyming. I'm making well, I think you saw them, right? The felt pasta
Yes.
kits.
Yes. They were super cute.
The
Super
kids really
cute.
get a kick out of them.
Yes.
And then pizzelles, I last year I made a batch and I brought them to one of the events. And then what I started doing is I started making ornaments, like
Mm-hmm.
snowflake shaped ornaments,
Yes.
because
Yes.
my book's called Snowflakes with Sugar
Yes.
Pizzelles. And I bought a couple small Christmas trees that
Mm-hmm.
I brought one to one of the events to hang the ornaments, and I'm
Oh,
trying
cute.
everything. I'm trying
Yeah.
everything. So I would say for marketing, merch and, all kinds of like related items, anything that you can think of to help you, that's related to your book
Yeah.
that would good for marketing. Yeah, and I'll
Wonderful.
take any questions if anybody's online and has any questions, or if you get questions afterwards and you need me to get back to you, I'll be happy to
Fantastic.
provide more
Thank you.
information. Yeah.
I'm glad you've been sharing it. Leslie says Warminster is pretty close, so I'm glad that you shared where you'll be. I know a lot of times a couple of our other authors were saying like, this is where I'm going to be. Please come out and at least just say hello if you're in the area. It's a great opportunity to meet the authors. It is a great opportunity to purchase the work if you're there. Tell your friends. For those who are listening, you may know people with children who want children's books, who need some of the adult books, some of the training materials, people who are interested in becoming an author. If it's not for you, take the information and be sure to pass it on. Amelia has dropped so much information in this time. You can see she's a storehouse of it, and she has even more to give. And I love this idea of your creativity coming in and utilizing creating the meatballs and creating the snowflakes and creating the ornaments and so forth. And I'm just thinking, what a great outlet for you as well, beyond the writing.
Thank you. And I want to have I started a second YouTube channel, but it kind of is a little idle right now. And I wanted to make it for kids. And I had
Hmm.
some alphabet videos on there. I did that a few years ago. But what I really want to do next year is work on a cookbook, since my children's books have recipes inside.
Yes.
And I don't know if I told you when we met that I'm eating more plant-based now. I'm vegan.
Hmm.
And my
Hmm.
daughter started me on that. So we've been just not only experimenting, but discovering so many wonderful plant-based recipes, and
Yeah.
we're excited. And I would love to have like another YouTube channel with cooking. So
Nice.
once in a while, I post about cooking on. I do TikTok, but I'm not as active.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter, a few years back, she's like, "You got to go on Instagram." So
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, I'm a bit more active. I would
Yes.
say I'm mostly active on Instagram and Facebook. Well, I have personal Facebook, but for anybody that, because I get a lot of questions like, "Oh, should I create like an author page?" If you
Mm-hmm.
create a business Facebook
Mm-hmm.
page, um, that would be, it's free, and you can
Mm-hmm.
run ads on it where you wouldn't be able to
Mm-hmm.
run ads on your personal Facebook
Personal page.
page.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Good point. Very good point.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
something else that you said that I wanted to, oh, on Friday, I'll be interviewing author Stacey Woodson, who writes children's books about healthy eating. So that's
Oh.
going to be this Friday at 2 o'clock. So
Oh.
if you're able, listen in or catch the replay because there will probably be information as you're talking about more plant-based. And as someone, I used to be a strict vegan. I was a strict vegan for 5 years, meaning that I didn't even do honey. And that lifestyle is one that is important. Luckily, I had a family friend who had been a vegan for, I don't know, many, many years. So she was kind of my coach to make sure I was getting all of my nutrients. And then I also have a friend that's a nutritionist who has been vegan on and off as well. So it is a lifestyle that I personally do love. Um, but it is important to make sure that you get the necessary nutrients and stay conscious and cognizant of your body type.
Absolutely, including, we take a liquid B12 because
Mhm.
it's hard to get the
Yes,
B12.
it is.
And then I have some other vitamins, and my daughter helps me so much with all of that. She's an esthetician, so she knows about skin, and she
Yep.
loves, but her and her boyfriend go to the gym, and she loves, like, health and nutrition. So she'll tell me,
Mhm.
"Mom, did you take your B12, liquid B12 today?" And yeah, it's important to check your vitamins. Sometimes I'll use the MyFitnessPal app
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
make sure, like, that I'm getting, like, certain, nutrients, and there's.
Nutrients that you need.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love it. I'm also just thinking it's holiday time, right? And to be able to have your books with all of, for those who have the family over, whether it's nieces, nephews, grandchildren, great grandchildren, what a great opportunity to read a book and cook.
Yes, I did a couple, um, cooking videos that I put.
Hmm.
It's probably a couple on my Instagram, where I made, like, I was making meatballs,
Yes,
and oh, I wanted to tell you that I just uploaded revised versions of my, well, I updated the recipes in my children's
oh,
books,
did
and
you? Okay.
what I did was I have my proofs because I just ordered my proofs. So what I did was I had already done it with my apple cake, and, like, the back cover is prime real estate, so
Yes.
I updated my back cover and I put thumbnails, but on the front, I put,
Hmm. Here we go.
uh, recipes inside.
Ah, nice, nice. I see
And
it.
I thought about, like, mentioning vegan, but people don't necessarily understand, like, vegan, so I didn't wanna, like, make it confusing, but
Yes,
I updated the recipes inside, and I just put vegan options, so,
nice.
it's easy for the baked goods. For the meatballs, I actually have 2 variations. You could, substitute eggplant.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
I didn't put it in there, but I'm studying, people on Instagram who are using things like, walnuts and
Yes.
mushrooms
Yes.
for meat replacement. They
Yeah.
also have the plant-based ground meat
Yes.
that you could use in place of the ground meat.
Yeah.
So, I was never a big meat eater, and I was always
Mhm.
lactose intolerant my
Mhm.
whole life, and so I think it was just meant for me to become a vegan and eat plant-based because I feel so much better, Kathleen.
I know.
I lost a few pounds and I feel lighter and
Mhm.
a lot of benefits.
I'll
A
have
lot
to
of
send you
benefits.
the link. I had the opportunity. I must have been about a week. No, it was the first week in yeah, I guess it was last week. The first Thursday in November, I had the opportunity to interview vegan Chef Babette, and she's 72. She'll be
Ooh,
73 years old. When you
is
see her, Amelia, you won't believe it.
oh
You
my
will
God,
not.
is that on your? That's on your podcast
Yeah,
on your
that's on
channel?
that's on my YouTube channel. You can look on Sisters for Harmony if you go to my playlist and the Sisters for Harmony, and you will see her. You will not believe your eyes. That's for anybody, and for anybody that was on that show. Chef Babette, you can look her up on Instagram. She is a vegan chef. She has a restaurant out in Inglewood, California. She
Oh,
makes her food is incredible. She's also a health coach. When you look at this woman, she works out in the gym 2 hours a day. When you see her, you will not believe her age in any way, shape, or form.
how do you
Um,
spell her last name?
Babette is it's Chef Babette, Babettete, and her last name is Davis, Davis.
Oh, Babette is her first name.
Yeah, Babette's her first name. Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
And so I've been on her about a book since I met her over a decade ago. And so she finally did a book, and it is, I think it's like cashing in on cashews because she does a lot of stuff with cashews. And she also makes like a nut burger, which is incredible, does a lot with, what else is it? Avocado. She makes like an avocado chocolate pudding.
Oh, I've seen recipes with the avocado and the
Hmm.
chocolate.
So
There's so
I'm
many
excited.
recipes. I'll
So
look up that
many.
book. I'll look up that book. Does she
Yeah.
also have like a channel where she does like cooking demonstrations or anything?
She does do different things on her channel and like I said, on Instagram, but also on YouTube as well. So yeah, you can take a
Oh,
look at her.
I'll
So,
definitely look her up. And what's the name of the
yep.
author that's coming on Friday? I'll definitely catch the
Her name is
replay.
Stacey Woodson.
Mm.
Stacey Woodson, Woodson. Yes, and she's coming on at 2 o'clock. And like I said, all of her children's books are about healthy eating as well. And she's a nutritionist.
Oh, wonderful. Oh,
Hmm.
that's perfect combination. Perfect
Yes,
combination.
yes,
I'll be
yes.
heading over to set up for my Friday and Saturday event,
Hmm.
but I'll definitely catch the replay
Yeah,
there. That's incredible. I love
yeah.
how we're discovering more things about each other
I
and other people.
I agree, and I'm just thinking so many possible points of collaboration. And as you continue to write your children's books and include the variations of recipes for people, it's such a great way to start them early with healthy eating and understanding those differences. So, what books do you have on the horizon? What's coming up for you?
I'm glad you asked that. So I have like so many different ideas for books, and you know how like you write one and then like every minute or even like you wake up and then you had a dream and like you just want more and more books. But I
Yes,
realized that I have to really market the ones I have and improve the ones I have.
yes.
And if you have nonfiction books, you may have to go back and edit them and update them. So I
Hmm.
have to do some updating.
Yes.
But like I mentioned, I definitely want to pursue a cookbook. So I
Hmm.
have to figure out if it's going to be like specifically plant based or is it going to be like Italian food
Hmm.
where it has the plant based,
Hmm.
integrated
Hmm.
in it.
Hmm.
And obviously, it could be for like all ages because I think I hear stories from people telling me that their children or the, they're cutting grass. I hope it's not
That's all
too
right.
loud.
It's all right.
It always happens, right? Um, about their children that help in the kitchen, and I absolutely love when I hear about
Yes.
children helping in the kitchen.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
in addition to the cookbook, I have some other ideas. Obviously, I would love to expand on the Bella and Mia series
Yes.
eventually. But
Yes.
next year, what I'm going to do is probably update my nonfiction books, need a little tweaks here and there, and maybe like
Mhm.
re release them, which is another great marketing
Yes.
strategy.
Yes.
I also have something that I had been working on a few years back based on some information that I saved when I was younger about creating writing for children. And I would definitely
Mhm.
love to have that and maybe like a workbook to inspire children to write their own stories.
Yes. I think that's so important. I know when I had done a book read So this was 2021 when my first children's story came out, and I did a virtual book read. And afterwards, I received so many emails from parents saying how their children were just constantly writing stories about Froggy T and Bunny. And
Oh,
yes, it was so cute. And then the teachers sent me, I have tons of little stories that they created about the Froggy T and Bunny characters. And that wasn't an assignment that I gave them. They were just so inspired by the story that I even shared with you that I had started writing in the second, third grade. And so they took it upon themselves to start writing these stories. And then one parent finally emailed me a couple months later. He's like, I'm so tired of Froggy T and Bunny showing up in my car every morning. Yes, my child just keeps writing stories, but it's such a great way to plant those seeds and nurture that creativity.
it really is. Maybe like, have you thought about having like an activity book?
Well,
Um,
all of mine, so yes, and all of my books have a glossary and activities at the end, as
oh,
well
yes,
as processing questions.
good.
But yes, I'm also working with my illustrators for coloring books. We were just waiting until there were more characters. And so now he's like, you have enough characters because I have the four books out now. And then of course all of those activity books that I used to love growing up, like Seek and Find and word searches and crossword
Oh, I want to do
yeah,
puzzle. I want to do puzzle books too. I
yes.
actually bought software a couple years ago that I didn't use, and you can
Mm,
create seek and find puzzles. And
yes,
I've been looking for years for like dot to dot. There's not a lot of software that makes that. There is one that it's expensive, so I kind of put that on the back burner. But I
gotcha.
love that, and I
I
love like
know.
I still like doing like easy crossword puzzles. I do them every
Yeah,
night when I'm winding down for bed. It really relaxes me. So I love that was also on my list, puzzle
so
books.
good. So good. And you know what else? I was just thinking in my second book, in the Bunny Gets Bullied a story, I have where Bunny and her mother are in the kitchen
Oh, I
and
love it.
they're talking because she's sharing her experience of being bullied and understanding that many times in the kitchen is where so many conversations can take place, right? And
Yes.
there's the learning about the cooking, but there's also the bonding and the relationship building that happens right there. And that's why I think your books are so great for that, for people to have this opportunity to pass down generational recipes, right? And then also to build those intergenerational bonds.
So wonderful, Kathleen. I totally agree. There's so much opportunity. Like one of the, if people ask like the message from my books, I'll tell them that my goal is to foster love and try to
Hmm.
promote family activities like in the kitchen or any really any kind of activities, even craft,
Hmm.
doing things together to just bond.
Yeah.
And and also allows kids to be creative.
Hmm.
Um, there's so much
Yeah.
potential with
Yeah.
cooking
Yeah, it
and
is.
learning.
It really, it really, really is. And it's a skill, right? That's beneficial all of your life.
And
To-
it's actually not that hard. It's just like
Mhm,
I think because I watched my mom and she helped me that I feel like totally comfortable and confident in the kitchen. Whereas it
mhm.
like my husband will help me for sure, but like sometimes people weren't taught, kids weren't taught, and he just doesn't feel as comfortable in the
Yeah,
kitchen. And that's
yeah,
perfectly fine. It just takes time. And if you teach children, then it just becomes natural later
yes,
that they just like, yeah, I'll make that no
yep,
problem. Like
yep,
instead of, oh, I don't cook, like
yep,
it's never too late to
yep.
learn how to cook.
So true, so true. I know my god granddaughter. She was there that day. She um she loves going and trying different recipes, and God bless her mother who assists her and lets her try and experiment. And they just, it gives them build a bonding time. It also strengthens her confidence in the kitchen. I think about my husband. He loves to cook, and it's during that time that he'll bring in recipes that his grandmother taught him or that his mother taught him, and it gives him that connection. And even though both of them are ancestors now, he feels very connected to them during that time. And I happily allow him to be in the kitchen by himself and prepare the food.
I love it. Well, most of the time I cook and my husband cleans, but like I said, if I ask, he will help. And one more thing I want to mention, because if you mentioned
Yes.
about, we're talking about confidence, is my message to aspiring writers is to never give up. And
Mhm.
I am here to help people achieve their dream to become a self-published author.
I
So
love
that's
it.
my goal. And I'm going to have other Zoom meetings next year. My course has that free community forum. So I can't wait for people to start, interacting in that forum. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. So, for those of you who are just joining us, this has been a packed, when I tell you a packed hour of information. Amelia has given so much information. Go back, hit the replay, stop it as needed, get the websites that she mentioned, get the notes and the strategies that she has recommended. She has a course, and right now we are still in the window of the early bird special. So you want to make sure you tap into her link tree. The link is in the chat room. I am going to put all of her links in the write up underneath on YouTube. So definitely check out my Ask Dr. Walls 525 page. You want to be sure to sign up for her workshop. She will guide you through what you need. She's available for questions and answers. And as she mentioned, she has a free replay that's already there, as well as some additional classes and courses coming up within the new year. But you can definitely take this course and you can have something up, would you say, by the end of the year if they follow your instructions?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Not a 300-page novel, but something a little smaller, and I
Yes.
definitely, uh, recommend starting with something small and then
Yes.
building from there, for
Yeah.
sure.
I agree. I agree. And that's what sometimes people have to realize. I know in my second book, Live by the Spirit, it was just a series of writings. And I did, how many are in here? I want to say 11, just 11, right? And
See?
it gave me that sense of accomplishment, right? That it was just like, okay, and I charge $5 for it. I think it may cost me $2 to print it, and it's because the
Mhm.
cover is filled with color, you know,
Perfect.
but it gives me that sense of completion, and it also lets, and I called it volume one. So that way I was encouraged to do a volume two at some point. And again, I know it can be just a small amount, but I'm constantly staying within my writing.
One more tip would be if people aren't sure, like, what they wanna write about, they probably have something around, laying around, or something they wrote in the past, or like
Hmm.
you have, you put together anything, short stories, it could be
Yep.
inspirational tips,
Yep.
it
Yep.
could even be like a photography book. Of course, that's
Yep.
gonna be more expensive because it's more graphics, but, there's so much potential.
Yes, so much. Well, Amelia, I thank you so much for joining us. I'll have to have you come on again if you're willing.
I
We'll
would
come.
love to next year, we'll definitely have to do this
Yeah,
again.
definitely. All
Thank you,
right, everyone.
Kathleen.
Oh, you are so welcome. And you have a wonderful holiday next week. And we will talk soon. And for everybody else, have a wonderful holiday if you celebrate as well. And as always, continue to live your greatest life. God bless and keep writing. All right. And keep reading, right?
Right. Thank you, Kathleen.
You're welcome. All right,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye,
Bye
everyone.
bye.